After deliberating, the jury returned A.C. Cliff Park guilty. The jury recommended no mercy, the sentence, death by electrocution. For many, it appeared the Floyd Hort case had finally come to an end, but the courtroom battle wasn't over. Park appealed his conviction to the Georgia Supreme Court. The court reviewed the record. It did not conclude the evidence was insufficient. Instead, the court found a procedural error. Park had been improperly denied the right to open and close the jury arguments. His conviction was reversed. A new trial was ordered. The state tried him again, and once again, guilty again. The sentence, death again. Park appealed a second time, and this time, the Georgia Supreme Court affirmed the conviction. The legal battle that began with one explosion outside of a Jackson County prosecutor's home had finally reached its conclusion.
There was a different jury this time, and the judge allowed the defense a closing argument this time, but the verdict was the same, guilty. A.C. Cliff Park showed not a trace of emotion as the verdict was read, but his wife and his daughter wept. For the second time in 15 months, the Jackson County jury had found him guilty without a recommendation of mercy in masterminding the 1967 dynamite murder of solicitor Floyd Hort. The verdict took only 3.5 hours, and Judge Mark Donahue immediately set May 15th as the execution date of this 77-year-old man. There were two concepts of justice here last night. Defense attorney Wesley Asanoff denounced the verdict. Mrs. Hord gave thanks.
And I'm going to continue to fight to see that Mr. Park is exonerated from this terrible charge.
Do you plan to seek a change of venue?
Yes, I stated to the judge that I'm going to first seek a reversal. And if they desire to try the case again, I'm certainly going to ask for a change of venue. We asked for a change of venue this time because we felt that the jurors were prejudiced. Furthermore, we were given a hanging jury within the meaning of the case of Witherspoon versus the state of Illinois. All those persons who were conscientiously opposed to capital punishment were excluded from this jury. This is in direct violation of the case of Witherspoon versus Illinois, and another case that was just handed down by the Supreme Court of the United States on Tuesday of this week. And for this reason, we feel that we have not had a fair trial.
Now that this is over, could you tell us about your reaction to the verdict in this second trial?
I'm still so pleased with the people in Jackson County. I know that they still want justice done here.
Justice was done in Jackson County last night, but 2 trials may not be the end. This is Carolyn Linden, WSB News, reporting from the courthouse in Jefferson, Georgia.
A.C. Cliff Park later died in prison. According to Richard Hort, Floyd Hort's son, Lord Say, was later killed in a gunfight after being released on parole. Douglas Pinion later died in an explosion involving gasoline inside his own vehicle. Whether it was an accident or something more, Richard Hort would later say remained a mystery. George Worley later passed away, and John Blackwell died in Pickens County in 2004. Today, every man charged in the Floyd Hort murder is gone, but perhaps the most remarkable chapter belonged to Richard Hort, his son. He was only 14 years old the morning his father walked outside, started his car, and never came home. Years later, Richard walked into the prison where A.C. Cliff Park was incarcerated, not to seek revenge, not to settle a score, but to lay down the anger he had carried for decades. That meeting would later become one of the defining moments of his memoir. Then when Park died, Richard went one final time to the funeral home. Years earlier, A.C. Cliff Park had attended Floyd Hort's funeral and signed the register. Now, the son of the murdered prosecutor returned the gesture, not because he had forgotten, but because he had chosen forgiveness over hate. The murder of Floyd Hort changed Jackson County forever. The investigation reshaped the county. The trial became part of Georgia's history. But the Dixie Mafia story, it didn't end there. While Jackson County was closing one chapter, another chapter was quietly unfolding. Just a few counties away, the faces would change, the names would change, but the organization would continue. Next, Walton County, Ruth Chauncey, the woman many would call later the godmother of the Dixie Mafia. This is Lamar King Sr., investigative analyst, new media, where the truth will never be silenced. Be great today. Peace.